It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes. So let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
My name's Mike.
And this week, Sony double dips into their Spider-Verse Spinoffs, which is probably the best news.
Double flips.
Yeah. I think they're probably double dipping the same chip. They're not getting new chips. I don't like it, but that's what we're gonna have to deal with. At the end of the day.
If you're a close friend or family, I'll allow it. But if I don't know you that well, don't be double dipping.
Don't do it. Sony, they're not friends or family. I'll tell you right now. The Batman Part 2 films next year. We got some updates for people who want to know more about the Batman Part 2. In case you forgot that was a real thing. That will be happening in 2026. One Piece goes into the Grand Line. I don't know what this means, but I love it. I'm so hyped to be back in the One Piece world, Mike, and more.
Yeah, One Piece was an exciting bit of news. Didn't see that coming this week. I don't know if it was part of like a Geek Week or anything like that. I feel like Netflix always holds on to all their reveals.
I think it's One Piece Day. I think it's called One Piece Day. Like it's a celebratory of like when the first issue of the manga came out.
We're gonna have to spin up a calendar here. Last week it was Spider-Man Day. One Piece Day. There's like 16 Batman days. I'm sure there's like Pokemon Day. There's got to be.
Well, there is, but I honestly don't think we know until like a week before. I don't think they're the same days every year. I feel like it's like one of those things. Like, do we have Spider-Man news? Okay, next week is Spider-Man Day. We're just gonna make it, and that's what it's gonna be. Batman Day, one a month. Everybody gets one a month. So on and so forth. But
I feel like Star Wars Day can exist on any day where you can make a pun out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, may the 4th be with you. Like Revenge of the 5th always annoys the crap out of me because I'm already so tired of May the 4th because I get no intrinsic value out of it. Like if they would release like something big, it's always just like some like animated show based on a character who's related to another character from an animated universe that I'm not going to watch, and they're just like, hey, congratulations, and it's like, no, give me something to bite into.
Well, they do. I mean, Star Wars is a whole different topic. Yeah, they do need to give us something solid. We don't have anything confirmed until, well, I guess we have Mandalorian and Grogu coming up, and then I thought we talked about it last week. Maybe it was this week. I was going to put it here. But for Star Wars, Matt Smith of Doctor Who fame is the villain in the upcoming Starfighter movie with Ryan Gosling.
Professional villain Matt Smith. Yeah. What it must be like to be born with the face of a villain.
Well, he was Doctor Who, so I'll give him. He did his hero phase already, so he's on the other side.
It's so funny because since I'm not a Doctor Who person, like I have only experienced him as a bad guy, and he looks exactly like it. I can't pick other than Game of Thrones and Doctor Who. These are TV shows. I can't pick a movie he's been in I consider successful, because he was temporarily in that Terminator Genesis movie, the one where the AI was coming back and John Connor was. What's your definition of success?
Morbius is not successful. He was also hired in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Was it Rise of Skywalker? Whatever the last one was, the really really bad one. To be a young Emperor Palpatine, but they didn't use him in the final version of the movie. So what I know of him from a film perspective isn't really striking me as like, oh, this is going to be good. But I like him as Doctor Who. I hear great things in Game of Thrones. What House of the Dragon? Is that right? House of the Dragon? Is that what it's called? So I've got no qualms with him, but yeah, we don't have Star Wars news right now. But you bring up a good point. Revenge of the 5th could be any month, right? Like it's not necessarily the 5th of May. It just happens to be May the 4th. So Revenge of the 5th could be next month if we want it to be a new Star Wars day.
Yeah, don't do it. Everyone is already shifting into
soup mode,
Halloween mode.
Oh,
And yeah, and I can't handle it. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, fall.
Yeah, and I can't handle it.
Yeah, you don't like Halloween? You're not ready for Halloween yet? Is that?
I like Halloween. I'm trying to bring myself to go watch Weapons. I hear it's crazy. It's also good. Something I cannot talk my wife into. So, but Chris, if I drag my feet not even that long, like apparently only 4 weeks, I'll probably be able to just to watch it at home because I watched a movie that I didn't even know was available. I just went on vibes alone.
Yep.
Just I think it was like Thursday night. I was like, oh man, I guess I never did watch that new Jurassic Park movie. I wonder when that's gonna hit digital. Oh, it's probably gonna be like maybe another month or so. I should push it out of my head. Then another day goes by. It's a Friday night. Like it kind of feels like a movie night. I don't want to just watch like some random TV episode. I want to bite off a whole movie tonight. And I just open up my Roku and like lo and behold, on the right hand side it says Jurassic World Rebirth, like own it now, or it was like the digital rental or something like that. But I was like, holy crap, this movie came out like 4 weeks ago. So that's all it takes. Like I keep thinking like, oh, that 45-day window was always attached to, I think, streaming. And like even sooner, you can get the official ones and zeros out there online. So we watched Jurassic World Rebirth, and I did not enjoy it. I don't know if you saw this or not, Chris. Did you
I haven't
see
watched.
this one
I haven't watched
theater?
I haven't watched the two before it. Why would I watch this one?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I know what these are. I've seen the trailers. I'm not thrilled. I know where my nothing will ever live up to the first one, and it's all downhill from there. So
this is extraordinarily true. Like my wife and I had a long discussion about things we did not like about this movie after we finished watching it, and then we went right to bed, and I had 2 dreams that same night back to back about being attacked by dinosaurs that were not good. I like literally woke up screaming in the middle of the night, and my wife was just like, what is wrong? And I was like, dinosaurs. They're in my dream. So like not only did the movie not sit well with me, but it disturbed my sleep through the night, and like that's not cool. So I won't spoil the movie, but like this does effectively nothing for the universe or franchise like as a whole. And it's not even like a fun little like one-off movie of like, oh, let's just like dip our toe into like this Jurassic universe and like dial in on like a couple interesting characters and just use the dinosaurs to like maybe tell like a thought-provoking story. Like no, this is just like a waste of time. Like I thought the franchise being teamed up with the word Rebirth, I was like, oh, we're reinvigorating this bad boy. We're gonna hit the ground running and keep it going, because I don't know if Universal has any sort of like contractual obligation to keep making these or the rights reverse. I don't think this is like a Spider-Man situation. So I was like, if they're pushing another one out, like it's got to be worth it. Like no, like the Rebirth meant nothing. Like we know from the trailer there's like some genetic stuff going on there, but like I don't even think the word Rebirth is strong enough to connect to that at all. So I would just definitely don't pay for this digital.
So
like it'll probably. I mean, don't pay for Peacock either, because I don't think you're getting your money's worth there. So, like, maybe this will show up on, like, a Netflix one day. I just can't recommend somebody go out of the way to watch it.
Well, too late, because it's the 3rd highest making movie of the year. Because I think we might be the only people who didn't watch it at this rank. But Jurassic World movies are essentially what I'm gonna be like. They are essentially the new Transformers franchise. And I wouldn't say, new, like, Jurassic Park's been around, before and after, but like those had diminishing returns on quality and they had increasing returns on revenue. And I don't know how, but international markets, we may just have higher standards than someone who just wants to go to the movies and watch dinosaurs. You don't even have to go to the movies to watch dinosaurs. You watch it in the comfort of your own home, which then, again, permeated your dreams and had dinosaur, nightmares, which I'm guilty of when I was a child as well. So sorry to hear that, but it is again, despite it being on streaming, not streaming, purchase. What's it called? VOD, right? Is that what it's like?
Technically, the bits the bits and packets are streaming.
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
have to pay for
But it's not like you pay for one service and you get it. You actually have to shell out the coin for it. Directly. But despite that, it is a financial success before it even got there, which is blowing my mind a little bit, if you will, for that. So yeah, sorry you didn't have a good time with that. I'll tell you what I watched. I wasn't going to talk about it, but on the other side, I was cleaning up my basement and I came across my VHS copy of Batman Forever. And I was like, I'll throw in Batman Forever. That's the Batman I grew up with, right? Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey. I'm having a good time, and some of it is not a very good time. That is a Joel Schumacher film through and through, because it is just so wild. I forgot that at some point Jim Carrey's Edward Nygma like cleans himself up and like announces what he calls the streaming box to the world, right? I'm like, oh, that's relevant today. We have a streaming box, but it looks like a goddamn blender with like wings on it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is very much like not very, very fun. But I will maintain. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the funniest thing about these kind of older Batman movies, I feel like back in the day when they were more relevant, everyone was always like, oh, remember those Adam West Batman like TV episodes? Those are so wacky and crazy. These movies are like real and awesome and so far removed. But like if I look at them side by side, I was like, no, those like Batman Forever, Batman and Robin were just cartoons. Those were cartoons with real people.
There's two things to Batman Forever. Number one, I stand by the fact I think Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey as Two-Face and the Riddler, respectively, were told to do your best Jack Nicholson as the Joker for both of those characters, because they both Jim Carrey doesn't feel like the Riddler. He feels like Jim Carrey doing Jack Nicholson as the Riddler, and then Tommy Lee Jones doesn't feel like a cold and calculated Two-Face. He feels like he's doing Jack Nicholson's the Joker's Two-Face. I'm like, these two could you make them a little more yin and yang rather than like samey? But at the same time, I don't know if you know this, but this movie and the following one are actually, the way they came out are because of McDonald's, because of the toys for Batman Returns. They went all in on Batman Returns, didn't realize how dark and creepy and not a kid's movie Batman Returns is. And they got so mad that they were like, we get a say in the final edit of the next Batman movies, or we won't do any merchandising with you at all, which is crazy to think about. If anyone doesn't believe me, look it up. It's like one of those things. It's like, God, it's hard to think a fast food chain could own so much of a Batman franchise, because Batman, no one these days tells Batman what to do except James Gunn, and James Gunn will not be purchased by McDonald's. God damn it, he will find a different restaurant that he will be in cahoots with.
The power of 2 inches of plastic.
Yes,
rules the world.
And do you remember the frosted mugs that came out with Batman Forever that had like the edge?
I have them.
Okay, good.
I have them in my cabinet.
Good, because I was like, oh man, these are wild. I love them. Anyway, sorry. Long story short, it was just watching some movies there that are not good, not even fondly remembered as good. But let's get into this, because I did not expect today to have One Piece news, Mike. One Piece came out of left field with apparently One Piece Day, but we got a new trailer from Netflix for the upcoming season 2, and it is titled One Piece Into the Grand Line, which I love that the season has its own title. Like, that is awesome to me. Like, it's not just it's like what was it, Wednesday just came out and there's like Wednesday season 2. I'm like, that's fine, but Into the Grand Line just makes me feel like it's a special event. And we got a new poster with Luffy holding 2 up and him in front of the thing. The poster is very run of the mill, but the trailer was really fun. I like the fight scenes. I love seeing new zany characters who are going to be showing up. I want to dive back in to this world so hard in live action. Mike, what do you think of it?
Yeah, it's such a goofy little world, and we talked at length in our review for season 1. Go check it out. It's just so refreshing that if you all your characters don't take it seriously, the audience doesn't have to like be so caught up on like, oh, these are snails with their phones. I caught a quick glimpse in this trailer that I saw like a tire, and I feel like I don't do I remember a car in season 1? Are cars a thing in this world? And I think it was like a motor. I think it was like a motorcycle or something.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, whatever, as long as it's cool. I can't imagine a world with motorcycles and pirate ships, but whatever. I'm already bought into it. It is also really funny watching a trailer that's clearly talking to One Piece fans of the anime or manga, because you see all these like stills of these characters that have very iconic looks, and I'm just like, I don't know who this lady is, but she had long black straight hair. I don't know who this guy is who's chomping on a cigar, but he looks cool. And like, there's obviously people watching it going like, oh my gosh, this is them. They're gonna be in this season. I also love the subtitle because it reminds me of back when DBZ was airing, and they would name all of the different sagas, like the Cell Saga or like the Boo Saga or whatever, the Frieza Saga, and it was just it's just like a nice little defining story arc. So I don't know if that's what they did in the anime or the manga, but it's working for me.
Well, I'll tell you right now that this is season 2 is expected to cover what they call arcs in One Piece. They have like little story arcs, essentially manga versions, kind of like you said, the Cell Saga, like that's the sagas in Dragon Ball Z. So they have arcs in One Piece, and one of them is supposed to cover one called Loguetown, Reverse Mountain, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and Drum Island arcs. Now, knowing that there's Reverse Mountain, and Whiskey Peak, and Little Garden, those make me sound like there's going to be a little more land than sea in those situations, which might give way to someone riding a motorcycle. I did look up One Piece motorcycle, and there is someone named Billow Biker who rides a 3-wheel motorcycle, like a chopper kind of thing, and some other stuff. We didn't see any Tony Chopper in the trailer. Did you notice that as well after getting his review?
He must still be being rendered, or they're trying to train an AI how to make him.
Yeah.
Okay, if I just search One Piece motorcycle, I'm just getting
One Piece. Try anime. Try One Piece anime motorcycle.
Anime motorcycle. Okay. Oh, this guy looks cool.
Biker?
He's got a little Tony.
Well, that's Zoro.
What am I looking at here?
Zoro and Tony Chopper on a motorcycle. But look up Billow Biker. Billow Biker was the guy with 2 cigars in the trailer. Remember the guy smoking 2 cigars?
Billow Biker. I'm getting. Yeah, I think I'm also getting search terms from like a One Piece kart racer or something. Yeah. Oh yeah, this dude's cool. Oh, it's not a motorcycle; it's a tricycle.
Yeah,
which is really really makes it sound less intimidating when you call it a tricycle. This thing looks badass.
Yeah, like I said, the fact he's smoking 2 cigars, and I saw that in the trailer. I'm like, yeah, I know who this guy is.
Okay. This is very, very important to the One Piece lore, so let me make sure I read this correctly. The caption underneath a picture of this motorcycle, which is half submerged in water, says, "The bike is capable of driving and floating on water."
OnePiece.fandom.com for people who are looking this up.
Like, I'm just like imagining that shot from season 1, that super epic shot. I think that was that one dude that has like a gigantic sword or something.
Yes.
And there's like all these explosions and like a big pirate ship in the background. He's like on the sand. I don't remember a lot of what's going on, but it was like this epic shot. Like, there's got to be one of those where somebody's just like tearing across the waves on this like tricycle. This is gonna be awesome.
Okay, so for people who are yelling at us because we're not One Piece people, we're learning as we go here. The Billower Bike is the name of the bike itself. The character's name is Vice Admiral Smoker. So
he smokes.
Yeah, I think he was in season 1. I think he was in season 1 as well with the cigars. But either way, the Billower Bike is probably what we're seeing. It doesn't matter, Mike. We are the least weebiest for One Piece, but by God, we are so excited for this. Like, I can't believe we're getting this. You know, it sucks we have to wait till next year because I want it now, but. In that regard, Netflix has confirmed that season 3 has been filming for a while. Like, season 3 will be, like, I think it's at the end of this teaser, like right at, like, not as long of a wait for season 3 after this. So
yeah, and this is kind of like a problem I think Netflix is having right now in general, because everything got slowed down due to the pandemic and the strikes. That there's this big gap of time in between some of their most successful and subscriber retention shows. Like you just mentioned Wednesday.
Yep.
That show came out like 3 years ago, it felt like. Maybe not literally 3 years, but it's been a while since. And I feel like maybe a lot of the excitement has kind of died down. And I saw some people complaining that they broke the second season up into 2 parts, a part 1 and a part 2. So some people are already upset. Like, you already made me wait 3 years, and I have to wait to watch the second half of this show. So maybe I'm sure that.
Well, look at Stranger Things, right? Look at Stranger Things. Like, how long has that been?
Yeah, that's a whole other beast.
Yeah.
But I bet Wednesday season 3 is also in development. So this is a good sign in a sense of just like, you know, Netflix saw One Piece season 1 as like an experiment. It paid off for them, and then they're just like, push all the resources, get this cranked out. People are liking.
Yeah, I wish I agree, but I wish also they would like at least be like, hey, let's commit to 2 or 3 seasons instead of like the 1 season and then wait and see approach, because that's where you get in trouble, right? They did one was a huge success, and like, oh shit, we didn't plan for 2 yet. We got to do all this stuff, get people scheduled. I'm like, I would rather you do a 1 and 2 in 2 parts and then figure out if it works and wait forever to do this, because you know, obviously it's going the other direction as well. But overall, I'm excited. We got to see some Luffy hit some of his arm attacks. There's a giant at some point as well that you know, I can't think of the main girl's character was looking at. I'm just, Mike, I'm so thrilled. I'm glad this news came out of today, because I was like, I don't know what else we got other than some DC and Marvel news, but One Piece here to save the day at the end of the day. Maybe one day I'll also take up watching the anime, but I know there's over 1,000 episodes, so I'm a little scared to even start doing that, but we'll see. Let's get into some DC news. Peacemaker is around the corner. We are less than 2 weeks away from Peacemaker. And the rumor is that the multiverse that we saw in the trailers and those, it will make David Ayer's Suicide Squad canon somehow in here. So
that's gonna be great.
I don't know if it's gonna be like one of those things where they show it and like end it right away or something like that, or just, hey, acknowledge it's a different universe, or what. I think I'm trying to think if there's any characters who crossed over other than Joel Kinnaman's Rick Flag between the two. Can you think of anybody else who made it? Amanda Waller and Joel Kinnaman are the only 2 people I think who crossed over to
and I can't keep track of all of these supposed quotes and statements from Gunn, because I feel like I hear them and then he'll reply on Thread saying like, I'd never said that or something like that.
He's like, I said that, but I never said that.
Yeah, so I'm curious, at some point, I think he said something like he never thought Amanda Waller kind of should have been this like connective glue between all of these different things, because, which makes sense, because like Amanda Waller doesn't really make sense touching like the big heroes, you know, like Batman and Superman. She's kind of meant to be like more of like on the baddie side of things.
She sent Superman to kill Black Adam or whatever was in that one movie.
That one movie, yeah. I am really curious how he is handling Peacemaker's inclusion into this main DCU, because obviously we saw Peacemaker meet some non-canon characters, and since it wasn't really a big plot point in Peacemaker season 1,
are you talking about the Justice League thing? Exactly. That is the only thing he said is not canon. That is the only thing that he has confirmed is not part of it.
Well, and I'm curious if he's just hand waving it away, which I'm okay with. You know, Peacemaker season 1 was good enough to where I can just like ignore the fact that those characters were included.
We don't need, like an end credit scene like that's kind of weird, but yeah, we can.
Yeah, or maybe there's going to be kind of like a Rick and Morty thing going on, where I feel like this has happened probably like every other episode in Rick and Morty, where they totally mess up their universe and they just kind of go to an adjacent universe that's like 99.9% similar. And, you know, you can just ignore the fact that, you know, anything has changed at all. So I wonder if maybe that'll kind of be an outcome of Peacemaker season 2, of like, he goes back to his original universe, but it's slightly different enough that Superman is a different.
I have heard a rumor how they do this. I'm not going to tell you here because I think it'll be a better surprise. But you're way off. They are not going to end up in a different universe. Is how it's going to.
Okay.
So
all right.
I'll give you that much, but I'm not going to give you the full details. If it's true, again, it might be. Again, James Gunn will probably say it's not true, and then it's true just to throw us off at the end of the day. But it doesn't really matter. But The whole point.
What are the
Yeah.
what are the odds that we recognize the opening credits song that they're going to dance to? Because I feel like James Gunn is great at picking songs from maybe somewhat well-known artists or bands that I've just never heard the music before, and then I end up falling in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious if I'm going to recognize whatever song opens up season 2.
He already announced a song at Comic-Con, so you can go look it up and
I
see.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So you can go.
No, I'll keep it a secret because I can be patient.
Be surprised with that. But yeah, they did announce. I'd be surprised if you know this song. That they did. So, but it's music. You could listen to music anywhere, but I'd be interested if you have it. But the whole point is if it's David Ayer, Suicide Squad is canon, there's probably gonna be some flashbacks, but like they're talking about Joel Kinnaman probably returning as Rick Flag Jr. at some point. We do know that Frank Grillo plays Rick Flag Sr. He's in the trailer. He's probably after him. I think it would be like a couple flashbacks, or maybe in like we see that one Peacemaker in the alternate universe where everybody loves him, right? And he's riding the motorcycle. Like he could be alive in that universe, but I don't think he's a big plot point here. I don't think it'll be like a big deal.
Or it could be like it could be something that stops like Rick Flag Sr. like in his tracks. I could see a scene set up to where he gets a one up on Peacemaker. It seems like he's finally going to bring him in, either kill him or handcuff him. And our hero, anti-hero, John Cena is going to go in the slammer, and then all of a sudden, just out of the corner of his eye, he like sees his dead son, and that could be like, he gets a leg up, and then things go back to normal. He realizes he's in a different universe, but I could see that happening.
Yeah, there's probably something there. But I just don't think he's going to be like. I don't think it's an extended role. How about that? I don't think he's going to be like in every episode. I am excited to revisit Peacemaker. Hopefully, we get to see some improvements there. But we do know that James Gunn is doing everything in the DC universe, and we'll talk a little bit more about that because David Zaslav is out there saying that James Gunn is writing and directing the next Super Family movie, and a lot of people took that as like he's literally writing a movie called The Super Family, and I don't think that's it at all. I think David Zaslav, a real ordinary person who makes real ordinary amounts of money, is probably referring to like another like Superman 2 or like another Superman Supergirl movie, like team up movie afterwards. I don't think it's going to be the Super Family kind of thing.
Yeah, I could see him maybe reverting to the phrase like super family of it's probably more than likely would be Superman 2. That seems to make the most sense. And we kind of talked about this last week. I don't remember what we were talking about, but we were like, why do we have to go so long? Oh, I think it was like, why do we have to wait so long to see Shang-Chi again? Like when back in the day, we would see Iron Man like every other year, or like on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So I don't want to wait 5-6 years to see Superman again. So maybe it is going to be Superman 2, but there's going to just be way more in it. So it's kind of the stretch to kind of call it just a Superman movie, kind of like how you can't really call Civil War a Captain America movie.
Yeah, it's like Superman wasn't really a Superman movie, right? Like the first one, even it had a bunch of people in it and set the world. I think the next one could go a little farther. We'll probably have Supergirl set. Well, I mean, Mike, if in a perfect world, here's an idea, Mike, is that like the next movie for Superman 2 is Superman and Supergirl team up against like, I don't want Zod, but like maybe like a Brainiac, because they both have history with Brainiac, right? And they find out like he was the one who blew up their home planet instead. Like it wasn't like a natural explosion. Like they're victims of him. I would love to see them team up because I think it would be interesting. But yeah,
that'd be fun.
Does that take them off Earth? Where does it take them? Superman, I think, needs to stay on Earth for at least the first 2 or 3 movies, while Supergirl can be in space. But I don't know. I think I think they're gonna lean into the Superman franchise. We have Batman 2. We'll talk about here in a little bit. We do know that Wonder Woman was fast tracked. We talked about it last week. So I think James Gunn will maybe stay in the Superman world, right, and we'll just make that his, and then let other people. Mostly likely Anna Nogueira, because he hires her for everything, do the other movies in the universe.
I think it's hard to request this since we haven't had a proper kind of Hall of Justice location. But like, I want that space station.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. For some reason I want to call it the Javelin, but I don't think it's called the
It
Javelin.
sounds like a Marvel thing.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of something else, but like it was just cool, and like there's just heroes
Watchtower.
up there.
It's
like
Watchtower,
Watchtower.
which is what they call the Avengers Tower now in Thunderbolts. So
yeah, so I'm probably gonna have to wait a while to see that, but like that's like the perfect amount of space for Superman. He's like out in space, so he can do cool space stuff if he needs to.
Yeah,
but he's got Earth right there.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is the last thing is I don't want it to be a Dark Side or what's the other one, Doomsday movie. Like I don't want it to be Zod, Dark Side, or Doomsday. We need somebody new and fresh kind of in here to do everything, because they just did Lex Luthor and all he wanted was real estate, man. He just wanted some land in another country. So let's see if we can get somebody new, something fresh in here and do that along the way. Speaking of streaming, it is rumored to become on digital August 26th. I know we're at that 4-week mark for that, and so the rumor is it'll be out on digital to purchase, not streaming, not HBO Max, which is back to its original name, right? HBO Max will not be there right away, but you can probably purchase it on the 26th. That sounds right? I don't think they go too far right. I think it's slowing down at the box office with Freakier Friday and what was that movie called? Weapons taking over this weekend.
Speaking of box office, I just saw Gunn reply to somebody else. They like just added him directly on Threads. They're like, "Hey, everyone says that if this movie doesn't make $650 million, it's a failure. Is that true?"
That's a new number. That number has changed every week, by the way. They keep asking.
But like he responded to it, which is like crazy. Like, Gunn, you don't have to be doing this. And he was just like, he said so defiantly that is 100% totally false. And then he clarified that it would be irresponsible to kick off a franchise with a first-time movie with a budget, that needed to be recouped with that much like box office revenue. So I guess he's got some business savvy stuff that he's bringing to this role. So
that's the third time he's done that, by the way. That is the third time he has done that. Like I think the number said it had to break $1 billion the other day, and then he was like, no. And then someone was like, oh, it's got to be at least 800 million, and he was like, no. And now it's like what, 750? You said 700.
Yeah. Also, like the internet loves doing their like napkin math, and like the old tried and true thing is to like double the supposed budget, and like that's the marketing. That's what you have to recoup. But everyone always seems to forget about like every other line of business that this touch. Right. Like, are we not including the Superman toys or like merch, the popcorn bucket,
the Fortnite
like
skins?
Random sticker? Yeah, or like the random stickers that you buy like at back to school for your Trapper Keeper. Like this is a money making machine well beyond box office. Yeah, that's the whole point of it, starting a franchise.
Well, that's what I mean. We literally had this conversation in our text threads like 3 days ago when you sent over the Marvel box office things, and I was like, because to me you sent it over and it was like all the phases, and I was like, I know Spider-Man 3 No Way Home made like $2 billion. I don't know how much it goes to Sony, and I don't know how much goes to Disney. I'm not going to pretend to know that. We need our you say lawyer, but maybe it's a private investigator, like some sort of like person to find out who gets what money in that. But like at the same time, Marvel owns the toy, or Marvel owned the toy rights. So like how much of that was made like in Spider-Man toys? Because like I guarantee you, like kids at a young age, 2 to 3 years old, know who Spider-Man is. And like they're buying Spider-Man stuff, underwear, T-shirts, toys, everything Spider-Man, cereal, spoons, what have you.
I didn't even think about like things like Fortnite skin. Yeah, that's got to be crazy money.
Yeah, digital crossover, stuff like that. So, there's so much more money than just the movie thing, because it's a huge thing too, because they do get money back on some of that marketing, right? It's not just like a straight expenditure. Overall, so anyway, so they'll be able to make some more money at the end of the month when it comes on VOD. Moving into the Batman, we talked about this at the top of the show. The Batman Part 2 has entered pre-production phase here in the back half of the year, and will officially be filming next year, January of next year at the England studio. It said January 1st. I don't think they're actually filming January 1st. I think it's a placeholder, but they're going to try to do is get close to the start of the year as possible to get this going. It feels like it's been forever since the Batman came out, Mike, and I don't know if I've ever revisited it since I watched it when it was on Max, like when they did that free, or like all the movies came to Max right away to watch.
Yeah, I remember liking it. I was very like positive. I don't really have anything bad at all to say about it. But I am kind of curious, how do I feel when the sequel comes out?
Yeah.
Right? Like we just said, we don't want to wait forever to see our characters return, whether it's a Netflix TV show, whether it's a Marvel movie. Is my excitement for Matt Reeves' Batman dwindled, or is all it's going to take is just a new trailer, and I get to see like a new like kick-ass Batmobile that's like slightly different but also still looks like a kick-ass like street car in a way, and then they tease me like a new villain that I haven't seen live action before. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm back in, like let's go.
Yep.
But like I'm not super dying to see this universe again, just because it's been so long, and I feel like I've moved on.
I think even that we've moved on, it's just like it feels like I know the Penguin's great. I didn't watch it, but I know people love the Penguin. It's won a lot of awards. Nothing against it, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, it's just like I forget it exists at the end of it. It feels like a one-off because it's been so long, right? And I'd love to come back to this, but like I said this when it came out. I have nothing against the movie. I don't think it's bad, but boy, am I sick and tired of seeing a darker, grittier Batman every time we see Batman. Like, I don't need him to be more realistic. The Superman was a nice levity, and Fantastic Four, right, where they actually embrace the weird in their superpowers a little bit. Like, we're not like over here, we're not embarrassed to be a superhero. We're not like hide in the shadows and be like, oh, we don't want people to see us because they'll think we're weird. Like, embrace a little bit in Batman. Hopefully they do that with the Brave and the Bold. They bring them into the DCU proper, because I don't think this character will be in the DCU. I think it's been too long. I feel Robert Pattinson has also like probably doesn't want to do it as much. I know that's just me saying that, not necessarily him, but I'm like, he probably has better things to do. He's got a Christopher Nolan movie to film or something probably at this point.
So two things pop into my head just now. If this is filming 2026, is the release 27, right?
Yes,
I think we talked about it on the show.
Yes.
So if it comes out in 2027, and if all things must eventually become trilogies until they can wrap it up, it seems like if it does well, they'll get the next one rolling like right away, right? We have all the puzzle pieces back in place. Let's not wait forever again. They could probably get a third one out in maybe 2029, give it 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then it would be kind of an interesting strategy, right? They do this Brave and the Bold. They start building out this DC universe without like a real proper Batman. Hopefully it's all quality, it's all good. And we're actually like excited and anticipated to finally see what this Batman is. Oh, he's been talked about. He's been hinted at. Mm-hmm. They did a whole movie with these Robins, and we never really got to see Batman. And then once the Matt Reeves Batman is retired, it kind of leaves the door open, because I don't really know if the world can quite handle two Batmans simultaneously. Is that too much? I don't know, but maybe that's when we finally get like a Batman in like maybe like 2030. I don't know.
Let's see here. Brave and the Bold release date. Let's see if we have it. I don't want AI mode. Stop it. October 1st, 2027 is what it says. So I mean, I don't know. Do you think they'll make
The question is are we making a Brave and the Bold movie without showing Batman in any real way?
No.
Like, could he just be like in the background?
No, it was a Batman. It's a Batman and Damian Wayne movie. It's what they pitched it. Now, mind you, this Gods and Monsters thing has gone off the goddamn rails. We've only gotten 2 movies out of it that we've announced and 1 TV show. So they don't have to hold to what they announced. So they could possibly even push this back even farther, like you said. But
now a fun thing that the second idea that I just came in, if they felt like they didn't want to totally abandon the Reeves universe, like maybe they just let that set and then they use that world to bring in a Batman Beyond character. Mm-hmm. Like if they're not going to do it in animation a la the Spider-Verse, maybe they could use this side universe, go far in the future, because you could age up all of the characters maybe like 30, well, maybe more than 30, maybe like 40 years. And then you could use that to tell your Beyond story, possibly.
But you've already got Batman and Creature Commandos, so I don't know how that would work.
But just his silhouette.
Yeah, well, I think, and then we have Clayface coming up. I think that one's more of a stretch than anything. I don't know what they're gonna do. They probably don't even know what they're gonna do less than we do at this rate. So, not either way. But I will say for Batman Part 2, that some scoopers have said that the upcoming movie is a quote big swing compared to I guess maybe playing it safe. I don't know what this means, but the rumor was that they would feature a Robin / Dick Grayson in this live action. It would be the first one since Batman and Robin to actually be considered Robin, right? The Dark Knight Rises was what was his name? It was something weird. Robin was his nickname or something like that. But
you can call me. Yeah.
They never showed him though. He was just kind of alluded to. But James Gunn already has come on Threads, the James Gunn social media channel, and said that only 6 people have read the script. So all this is, where are you getting these making this stuff up at? So it's either true or false at this point. I don't know about these Robins, because I did watch Batman Forever, and Chris O'Donnell, is supposedly, for being like a teenager, looks like he's 35 in that movie. I would love to see an actual Robin. I kind of got a little nostalgia watching Lego Batman for it. Like, I'm like, oh, I miss a Robin that's like kind of fun to have around, like a younger Robin who's like not as sure of himself. But we know that it's not Dick Grayson, is it? The Batman, the dynamic duo. It's Jason Todd and the other one, right?
Yeah, that's a whole nother incarnation of a Batman that I forgot about, and that is an animated universe. The only thing that we know for certain, Chris, is that there is not a lot of downside for a media outlet just making stuff up.
Oh yeah,
right. I feel like if you get some
Clicks.
some really important scoops right, you can have a little bit of trust. And the next time you share a big story, you might get a couple people on the internet who remember and be like, oh, no, this person got this right, so we can trust this. But it doesn't matter because people are still going to click on this anyway. So just remember, folks, there's a whole industry out there of just making stuff up.
Yeah, it used to be bad, but now we have AI, so they can actually fake photos and video of it now. So, it's one of those. I had to correct somebody the other day. It was some sort of really, really badly fake photo. I'm like, that's not real. They were like, yeah, it is. Here's a photo. I'm like, nope. It's not it at all. So I don't remember what it was. It was really bad though, but be prepared for that. Anyway, Batman Part 2 sounds like it's on track to release when we'll get it when we get it. But maybe it's a time for me to go visit the Batman in the meantime. Speaking of too long in between movies, Mike, we're going to talk about Sony real fast. They are officially announced an animated Spider-Punk movie that is a spin-off of Spider-Punk from the Spider-Verse films, which to me was a very surprising character to choose. However, seems to be probably the best method because he is very unique in art style as well, right? The Spider-Punk stuff was the Anarchy style, kind of cut magazines, Ramones stuff, and has a I wouldn't say. Would you say Daniel Kaluuya he's an actor? Is he a producer on anything? But like writer, maybe.
He might be getting to that level in his career where he's a big enough name to kind of throw in
So it'll be
credit.
So it'll feature Hobie Brown, who was voiced by Daniel Kaluuya in Across the Spider-Verse, and who it's co-written by him. He voiced it, and it'll also be co-written by Ajan Singh, who worked on the show Primetime. So this seems fine to me. This sounds fun. Spider-Punk is, was not one of the characters I thought they'd do. I thought they'd do like, what was it? It's not Spider-Man India Spider. What's his name?
The one with the yo-yo.
The Chai, the one who was like voiced by. I'm drawing a blank. It's where they go to the world and Miles prevents his chief from dying and like spirals out of control. Man, what was his character's name? Is it Spider-Man India? I feel really bad because it was such a good movie, and I probably need to go back and visit it. You
don't have to feel bad because remembering a character's name is not an indication of whether or not the movie was good.
Karen Sony, what is his name? Oh, I've got to look this up. Karen Sony, he was a guy, he was Dopinder in Deadpool, and he voiced the character, and I feel bad. But anyway, this is one of the better characters, I think, to choose to do this with. What do you think?
I'm kind of curious, maybe.
Spider-Man?
I don't know.
It was Spider-Man India. That's a weird name. Anyway.
I'm cautious about it overall, just because the appeal of his character beyond just his like really just his coolness overall. I can't think of a better way to describe it rather than he's just the coolest character on screen whenever he's got a scene to steal. His world was just so dynamic. Like there was so much going on. The art style was like so punk. And I don't know if my eyeballs can contain that for 90 minutes.
Do you think if they reel it back to where it doesn't change so much because it's in that world, do you think that would alleviate that?
Maybe, but almost I kind of feel like the appeal of these Spider-Verse movies beyond just being really good movies, like you know. The stories there, emotional stakes and impact it's multiversal at its core. You bring in all of these different components and all of these styles get to play together. So if you're just in his world, it kind of feels like you're missing an opportunity here. So that makes me go, okay, what's our strategy here? And also, I don't know if like too much of a good thing, but I'm almost looking forward to this part 3 because I kind of want to wrap this up in like a nice bow. I just want like an awesome part 3. I want this just beautiful trilogy masterpiece just to exist and just not to like beat it over the head into a pulp, into like spin-offs and everything. But now that I say that, it's just like, of course they're going to do that. Like Sony absolutely is going to do that. But I kind of got the feeling that all of this was more becoming a little bit more hassle than it's worth. It's taking them so long to get these movies out because they're such a labor of love. So like I'm surprised that they want to keep that Sisyphus ball rolling. I don't know. So I'm optimistic, but I'm very cautious overall.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go. I disagree. I don't think there's a strategy. I think you tell a story. You don't need a strategy for this. Like it's a good story. If they've got the right people, you can make it work. I also think if you can have your Miles trilogy wrapped up, but it's a multiverse, like all these other characters will still live on. You can be in his universe and be separate from Miles. They could also make it multiversal a little bit more because what was it? Was it Spider-Gwen? Wasn't it like a group? Hobie was part of the team that was going around helping people, right? Like wasn't that when they recruited Spider-Gwen at the beginning with?
Yeah, because he was like the punk that like didn't get along with anyone else.
Yeah, but he was still part of the team, I guess. And then he was like, "Oh, Miles is going to do what he's going to do because he thinks it's right." But I think the world of the Spider-Punk verse is pretty interesting. It's very much not futuristic. It's like that 80s futuristic where like President Osborn is dumping nuclear waste everywhere, and that's how he got his Spider-Man powers. I think there's opportunity to that, but like this movie, I think without the Lord Miller, and I don't think it'll be animated the same exact way as the current ones, and without a big cast, can be made quicker. I'm honestly surprised they haven't done this sooner. If I'm going to be transparent, I would have thought like immediately, like after the first one, knowing like, oh, hey, here's like, again, we know that we have Spider-Man Noir coming to Amazon live action with Nick Cage. I would have 100% thought they would have done like a TV show or an animated TV show or another small movie featuring like, oh, here's Peter B. Parker's origin story. Like it feels like, so the fact they've waited this long, but like it's a character I didn't expect. And I think to me, that's more important. Like I don't need a Spider. So we'll talk about that. We'll just jump to the next one because the other rumor, and this was a while ago, this isn't new, but just to put in there, it's the rumor that the Spider-Women movies in development at Sony, and this is supposed to take on like Spider-Gwen and the other like Lady Spider. Like that's the one I don't think we need. Like that one feels like not necessarily. I don't care that they're ladies. It just feels samey. Like kind of. I think maybe the word lazy. It would be lazy, right? Like we now have a team of ladies with spider powers. Let's put them on a multiverse journey together. That feels like across the Spider-Verse. in a not very creative or interesting way.
Well, I feel like just both of these movies, both of these supposed spin-offs, it just really kind of feels like, where are the stakes? Isn't the whole stakes of Miles' story that he's trying to save all of these worlds where all of these Spider-Man exist? So much so that there's a whole other like character whose whole life and existence is trying to protect it and keep things from falling apart. And it kind of feels like that should be concluded in the next movie, right? Like Miles should save the day and things will be back to normal and he's the hero. So it feels like you have to leave the door open for more bad stuff to happen for these characters to exist in a multiverse. So it feels like, oh, we're intentionally going to leave things open so we can make more of these movies. I'm going to take, this is the guess I'm going to make. I don't think part 3, as successful as I would love it to be, I don't think it's going to get the box office returns that they're going to hope it does. I think it'll do well. It's not going to be like a bomb in any way, but I think the time and the money that it's taken to get this part 3 out, I think that they're going to be underwhelmed that like, oh, I don't think there is oil under the ground like we thought there was, and it's just going to be too much work to get it. And my guess is going to be both of these projects are going to vanish. I'll throw that out there, and we'll see.
I don't think Spider-Punk will, because you don't have the amount of people and producers involved to make a smaller movie like that would be. Like, even if they find the story, I trust them. That's their job, is to find the stories. But you don't have Phil Lord, you don't have Chris Miller, you don't have 50 celebrities lending their voice to Spider-Punk. It's not the same cast. It's not Spider-Man 4. So I think it will be cheaper. And I can't predict the box office. We couldn't even predict, we thought the original Spider-Verse wasn't going to be worth its weight in gold either. I don't think it did. I don't think the first one did very well on that. But also, as we talked about in terms of like, what are the toy sales going to look like? What are the Fortnite skins? What are the lunch boxes? What did that look like? And how do they consider that a success? It's hard to tell, because Spider-Man always makes money. But I don't think Across the Spider-Verse has too many moving pieces, whereas a Spider-Punk movie compared to Spider-Woman, I think that one wouldn't work. But Spider-Punk would work.
This franchise did make Miles a household name. He was known in the comic book community. But beyond that, before he was put in his own animated movie, nobody like out in the public even understood that there was this secondary Spider-Man existing out there in the world. And now, when like Halloween rolls around, I see nothing but 10-year-olds running around in Miles costumes all over the place. They love it. Yeah. They love him. So I don't know. Maybe I'm underestimating the power of the 10-year-olds that'll run out and see part 3.
It was 5 years between the first one and the second one, 4.5, and it's going to be 4 more years between the last one, which is 2023, by the way, and the next one. So we'll definitely see if it goes up. I just think I agree with you. It may not make the most, but there's too many moving pieces. They also, we talked about this before, a Venom movie in the works from this that they could be working on. That's even less. I think that's even less likely that they go back to the Venom pool or Venom well for any time soon, right? Like I think they just need to just wait a minute. Just let Marvel make you some money on your Spider-Man 4, and then we can come back and then maybe see what's going on with it. But that brings me to our next point. Spider-Man, brand new day. Spider-Man 4, if you will, in the MCU, is officially kicked off. We talked about the set photos and videos last week. Now we have, as of this morning, a day one featurette featuring Tom Holland in a suit doing stunts, hanging out with kids. He confirmed that they had fans on set during the filmings with some of this stuff, which is pretty cool, I thought. I did include one of the image actually in our video right now is from them filming an explosion scene. They're actually doing practical web swinging on set, Mike, no blue screens. And they did
that was wild. I'd never seen a contraption quite like that before, and it looked difficult. Like I was like, oh, they definitely had this like tower cage thing like on a studio lot somewhere, and whoever that stunt person was just all day, like 12 hours a day for 4 weeks, like be like, I will be good at this, because it looks so natural. I mean, I don't know. I doubt Tom Holland is in that. I mean, he could be. I mean, he's young and spry. I'm sure he's dedicated and
he's
will learn
doing
it.
some of them, but there's a stuntman for some of them as well. They did show him in the spider suit.
But that web swinging looked really, really cool. But also, at the end of the day, I honestly would not be shocked if they, get back, the dailies and they're just like, oh, it looks cool, but like, we're just going to digitally paint out everything here.
It'll be touched up for sure. Like, obviously, they're filming in Glasgow, which is supposed to be New York, right? Like, they're not. It'll be touched. But
it's a great animation reference. Even if they totally don't use it, at least the CG animators have one-to-one. Like, oh, this is exactly kind of what it should look like,
Yeah. I'm sure some of those shots will make it too. Like, not everything, but some of it probably will. One of the cool things was, like I said, there was an explosion. They actually filmed him swinging in front of an actual explosion on set. And from my understanding is they did that in like one take. They didn't have to go back and redo the explosion. They were able to get him swinging on the right angle in front of the explosion at the right time. And I was like, that's pretty cool. That's the production stuff I love.
I just had a thought. This kind of gives me vibes, especially since it's so stunt focused. It gives me vibes of, whenever Mission Impossible would put together those packets, those reels of, Tom getting ready to do a stunt. But guess what is suddenly going to be available to this movie once award season runs around? It's going to be the stunt category. Mm-hmm. So this could be a little bit of a concerted effort to be like, oh, we're going to freaking win an Oscar for these stunts. That would be exciting.
Yeah. Well, and I told you brought it up. You're like, why are we getting we got 2 weeks of news out of the Spider-Man filming, but also it's like they want the visibility because they're out filming in public. Like, yeah, let's overrun the news with Spider-Man for a little bit because, as we mentioned earlier, everybody knows Spider-Man. Everybody can pick out Spider-Man. So I think that's pretty cool. There's a rumor that Mac Gargan, who is the Scorpion, the actor's name is, we just went over it last week. I can't think of it. It doesn't match what he looks like. Will factor into Spider-Man 5. And it made me think, I just went to the comic books. I have no reference for this statement other than comic books. In the comic books, when Eddie Brock wasn't Venom, Mac Gargan, the Scorpion, became Venom for several years, especially during like the Dark Avengers run where he was Venom on the Avengers team as a Scorpion. So it could be post Secret Wars he comes back. They don't have an Eddie Brock. They give it to the Scorpion instead to be the Venom, like an actual villain rather than the Eddie that we saw who's kind of like an anti-hero, and kind of make him differentiate them a little bit from that. Any takes on that?
I mean, I would be kind of curious what Scorpion looks like live action. I feel like we haven't really seen that. We've seen some pretty cool incarnations of him animated, right?
So the video game from Spider-Man, the PlayStation 4 game was pretty cool looking.
I believe he was also in the freshman year. I believe. Yeah. Also, he was in that. He's in something else too that I can't think of off the top of my head. Maybe I am thinking. Oh, I'm thinking of the first Spider-Verse movie.
Was he? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Spider. Yeah, because he's in Aunt May's house.
Oh, that's right.
That scene where they're wrecking stuff.
I was thinking of whenever he was at the generator where the Kingpin was. I'm like, he wasn't there. But yeah, no, you're right.
Chris, you're never gonna forget his name now that I tell you. His last name is Mando. Michael Mando.
Michael Mando.
Yes. You're co-host of this show and also the Mandalorian. We're never gonna forget your name,
Michael Mando. Yes. It's like those days. You have days where you remember names, and I'm like, I can pop these off all day, and others I'm like, I don't remember when I last had lunch. So it's one of those deals. But how will they give him the Scorpion powers? We know he has a tattoo and a scar. How does that kind of lead into this a little bit? I'm curious. But if they do give him the Scorpion out, or maybe he's a minor player in this, and they give him they don't give him, he gets a Venom thing and becomes bigger and even more dangerous. I'd do that.
It'd be so funny if Michael Keaton's Vulture never returns to the franchise and they just make it canon that he just got lost. He never technically came back to his universe, even though if we were to look at what happened with Eddie Brock when he was briefly transported or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we could assume the same thing happens to the Vulture. But I like the idea that
that is what happened.
He's stuck with Morbius, and he's just like, I really wish I could get away from you.
God, if he says it's Morbin time one more time, I'm just gonna leave and never come back.
Open up my wallet, huh? Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't think we'll ever see if we get a Michael Keaton reference again. I would be so surprised. He's not had a good luck on his returning to superhero roles between Morbius and the Flash in the past several years. So I would not be surprised if he's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to show up and do anything anymore. It's not worth the money." Last bit of news: Fantastic Four still in theaters, still going strong. The not rumor theory, whatever it is, Matt Shakman is likely to return for the sequel. I didn't really have any doubt in that. They've not announced the sequel yet, but I'd be surprised if they don't start working on one soon. We did talk about them kind of being very, I think, was it Kevin Feige said they're important to the MCU kind of going forward. So them and the X-Men, we know they're going to be in Doomsday, so wouldn't be surprised if they start working on a sequel fairly soon. To prevent that time in between movies when we don't see a team of people.
Yeah. I mean, the Fantastic Four are a core Marvel team. Like, I feel like sometimes we forget that like this was a big moment for them. They finally have the X-Men. They have they have everybody. Technically, they have Spider-Man in a way, if you will. But like
they can use
Fantastic Four. It's great. I can't wait to see them return. I loved the movie. Been hearing some like negative but like I feel like this is just that has no indication of like the movie. I think
that's just time.
Box office in general, like everything is different. Like every studio is going to be like re-strategizing here moving forward, and I don't think it's going to affect us seeing more stories from the Fantastic Four. I think there's just going to be business strategies floating around.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be made differently. They're going to be marketed differently. I saw an article. It's like movie theater, viewer habits won't return to pre-COVID levels till after 2030. Like that box office, like it's not bad box office when you compare it to everything in the past 5 years. But if you compare it to anything before that, yeah, it's bad. But I think they're planning for that that status quo being different for a while now. And honestly, it's just like one of those times, like the Superman naysayers come out after the second week. Fantastic Four naysayers, they're just louder than the good reviews because the good reviews already came out after 2 weeks. So no qualms here. Very excited when it comes to digital to revisit it. And then also knowing that they're doing Doomsday and other things, Doomsday, Secret Wars. I do know some listeners of the show went out and picked up some of the Jonathan Hickman Fantastic Four books featuring the Fantastic Four after the movie came out, so that was really cool to see that, and I recommend it as well. But yeah, Matt Shakman, he's been great. I'm pretty sure he started with WandaVision, right? Was his first one. That was his first show for Marvel. I'm gonna have to go peek into this a little bit because I don't know everything he's really done outside of that. WandaVision was his first Marvel stuff, and then he did work on Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. And where's his movies? This is just TV. I don't know where his movies are, so we'll have to go look at that later. But yeah, sounds good. Good news for us. Mike, that is the show. Anything else before we wrap it up today?
You know what? I'm excited. I'm excited for Avatar. It's our next big movie, but we gotta wait a while. We gotta wait till the end of the year to get back in the theaters. I think the wife and I are gonna go see Freakier Friday because she grew up with that movie and we rewatched it over the weekend and she knew like every line of the movie without even looking at the screen. So I was like, all right, we probably should go see the sequel in theaters so you can relive your childhood in some way. But yeah, I think that's what's on the agenda here. So maybe tune in next week and I'll have some Freakier Friday thoughts. Yeah, I think for me, like we talked about, like I don't know if I'm going to go to the theaters, but I do want to see The Toxic Avenger. I want to see how wild this unrated movie is. Yeah. I've got Mortal Kombat on my belt. There's a couple other October ones. Isn't Predator
the new Predator Badlands is this year as
Oh
well.
yeah, that's got to be soon. Yeah, and also outside of the movie
Tron.
theater on Hulu, I'm super stoked for that.
Yeah, Alien. Yep, Mortal Kombat 2. Like I said, Tron. I'm just kind of going through. Predator Badlands is November 7th. I saw a trailer for Now You See Me, Now You Don't, and I'm really disappointed they didn't call it Now You 3 Me.
Well, that's a whole thing. Like, I guess people that really loved that first movie were upset that the sequel wasn't called Now You See Me, Now You Don't. So they're appeasing the fans of this franchise by finally using the And Now You Don't.
Wicked for Good, I'll probably see. I was surprised how much I liked the first one. One for you, Mike, Zootopia 2. Don't forget that.
I know I love me some Zootopia.
Yep.
It was crazy. I am so fascinated. I don't know if this is true or not, but in the latest Zootopia trailer, they make a point to say that there hasn't been a snake in Zootopia for like ever. Like, I guess they're either not allowed there, or they're banned, or they don't like going there. So then it made me go, wait, I swear I thought I saw a snake in the first movie, but I guess I didn't. So it makes me wonder if whoever was in charge of writing the sequel to Zootopia 2, like, was just rewatching the first movie and they're just like, hey, why didn't they put a snake in the movie?
Nope.
And they're like, oh, this is great. This is exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm going to write a whole movie about how there's no snakes in Zootopia.
There's a Zootopia canon Bible that they have to follow that they wrote before they wrote the movie, and it explains everything. They've got it planned out, the history and the future of all this stuff down there. No, just kidding. But anyway, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I think there's like nothing huge until Avatar. Nothing huge, but I think some fun other movies kind of along the way, right? Like I think that's kind of where we're at. September, really? I thought September had something, but nope. All right. Well, if people want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, buddy, where can they find you at?
They can find my webcomics at pickledcomics.com and liferewardsrisk.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, where can they find you?
You can find me Instagram, Valdan87, VALDAN, or Video Game Systems of the same name. If people know about the show, where they can come listen to our Fantastic Four, or Superman reviews, or anything else, get these show notes. Where can they get all them goodies?
Oh, head on over to superheroslate.com. And you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. I feel like we're everywhere technically. So, I mean, wherever you want to listen to us.
By the time you get to this part, you're already subscribed.
Yeah, you're already listening to us. So I guess if you were trying to recommend us to a friend, that's how you become a super fan of this show, you kind of got to know where we are. So I am extremely confident that if you want a friend to listen to us, we are on whatever platform or device they are listening podcast. So with that being said, head on over to superheroslate.com. You can get .com/store, because you can get merch. We got like shirts and some stuff over there. And we want to know what you're doing. Reach out to us. Are you watching stuff? I watched Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas earlier today, this morning, and that was a trip. I totally forgot that was a prequel. Because I turned it on and I was like, hey, wait a minute.
That's not John Goodman.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that's the dude from Game of Thrones and Jack Frost. But it was fun. I was going to talk about it at the top of the show, but I forgot. There's a whole scene where they show a prehistoric Burger King, and I love it because they're carrying around these gigantic burgers, but the burgers also look like they're carved out of rock. So it's like so silly and stupid because no one's eating that burger. It looks like a rock.
And that's a cheap sequel too. Like that they are not spending a lot of money to make that movie if they're not bringing back John Goodman.
It was still fun. I'm sure people didn't like it when it came out because none of the stars were in it. But I had fun watching.
They haven't made Flintstones property since that, Mike. Just think about that for a little bit. That's how much it is. Because it's funny you mentioned, I actually downloaded the original Jetsons and Flintstones this weekend. Ironically, so it must be something in the air. It must be some nostalgia thing in the air with those those characters. So.
We must have some Hanna-Barbera air fresheners in our houses and didn't know it.
Yeah, we want to think back on simpler times. Anyways, if nothing else, Mike, I guess we'll catch everybody next week.
Yeah, see you next week, folks.